Remember that? Yeah. So I apologize. He's come to talk to us 2 or 3 times. I've met him about 4 times. He's a shy guy. All right. Dan's the type of person that when he starts talking, you'll probably have 7 zillion questions for him because they're all open-ended. Now, I'm a bad person with names, but I think it's Dan Osterman.
Osterman.
Please, Dan.
Well, as Mike said, I am Dan Osterman, running for the 7th Senate District. If you're not familiar with that, it stretches from the northern part of Wayne County on the west side, which is actually Northville Township on the north. Goes all the way down to the southern edge of Wayne County, and then the entire bottom half of Wayne County, southern half all the way over to Grosse Ile. So it's a pretty large district. 16 townships and cities within my district. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I was raised in a military family, and my dad served in 3 wars. So that's kind of where I got grounded, was from somebody who was in the military. I'm a former small business owner. I used to have a small business. If you want a real challenge, try having a small business in downtown Detroit once. If you want to do bureaucracy. I'm a 35-year veteran of the auto industry as an engineer. So I understand the auto industry and some of the difficulties and challenges that they have faced too. I'm a resident of Van Buren Township. I've been there for about 15 years. Came to Michigan when, actually my family came to Michigan when I was 14 years old. We've been obviously traveling all over the country and the world with my dad. But anyway, I decided, let me just say one other thing. I'm also a husband, a father, and a grandfather. So, the reason I'm running is that I'm probably a lot like you. I'm frustrated and I am deeply concerned about where the state is going. And it doesn't take a rocket science to figure it out. It's about jobs. And I decided to get into this because there are people in some of the organizations that I have been involved with, grassroots organizations, who urged me to get into this race. And I'm a reluctant candidate, but I figured I had to step up, bite the bullet and get into the race. And I'm in this to win it. So the part of the reason also that I decided to get in this is because it's clearly obvious that Lansing is broke. It's broke fiscally, it's broke functionally, and we've got to change the way we're doing business in Lansing. And we've got to start doing things based on sound economic principles and common sense. And that's the one thing we seem to be lacking in Lansing today. I mean, does it make sense to you that when we've got a state that's got the highest unemployment rate, and are actually taking pay cuts? I mean, some people are having to work 4 days instead of 5 days and taking pay cuts. In the meantime, we've got a legislature in Lansing that is passing pay raises for government workers. Does it make sense to you? No, it doesn't make sense to me either. And I don't understand the rationale behind it either. And does it make sense to you when we are probably, like I said, probably the worst economic depression we've ever seen in this state in a long time, and we're taxing our citizens, sending the money to Washington, and they're only sending a portion of it back, and the rest of it they're paving roads in West Virginia or something. I mean, does that make sense to us? No, it doesn't. The way that I figure that we've got to fix this problem, and I've done a lot of reading and a lot of research, and I see it as a 3-point problem, or 3 three-point action plan, if you will. We've got to look at taxes, we've got to look at labor, and we've got to look at education. Now, the reason I say education is because 40% of that entire $47 billion budget in Lansing goes to education. It's too expensive, there's too much waste, and we've got to do something about that.
Amen.
So as far as taxes is concerned, obviously, as Rick pointed out before, we have got to get rid of the MBT. We've got to start taking care of the businesses in this country, or in this state, before they decide to pack up and leave. I worked for 3 companies, the last 3 companies that I worked for all filed bankruptcy. One of them filed it twice. And these were well-established companies that had been around for a long time. So we have got to look at this tax structure, and I'm not saying tweak it, I'm saying we've got to reform it. Now, I'm not an advocate necessarily of the fair tax, but I think it has, the premise of it is the right idea. I think we need to go to a consumption tax and not have an income tax anymore, and even work our way to getting rid of the property taxes. And for another reason, it's because I don't believe the government should have the power to tax your labor or your property. You should not have to worry about whether or not you can't pay your property tax the rest of your life and have the government come in and take your property away from you. That is a power the founders never wanted government to have. I also believe that businesses and individuals know better how to spend their money than the federal government or the state government. The other thing we need to do, the second part of this, is we need to take a look at our labor laws. If you did, and I urge you, go out on the internet, use it, look up the research, right to work. I know some people think that it's anti-union, but it's anything but. And I can tell you right now, we need to seriously look at a right-to-work law. In every case where they have passed a right-to-work law, at worst, it's a net negative, or I should say a net zero effect. In most cases, it's been a positive effect. It's been a positive effect in wages, but the big positive effect is that businesses go flocking to those states that have right-to-work laws. And I don't believe that any individual should be not denied the right of employment just because he doesn't want to join a union and pay union. As far as the education system is concerned, we have got layers and layers of bureaucracy in this education system. I don't know if many of you are aware. I use this example a lot. Maybe some of you have already heard it. But I'll use Florida as an example because Florida, down in their state, they have 74 counties. In the state of Michigan, we have 83. It's very close. In the state of Florida, they have 74 school districts. In the state of Michigan, we have 550. We're wasting money on all this bureaucracy. We need to consolidate our school districts. We're spending for superintendents and all their staff in 550 locations. It's not a smart way to use the taxpayers' money. And it's your money, not theirs. And the other thing that we need to look at very seriously, I believe, is a voucher system. Some people think, oh, no, don't do a voucher system. I can tell you, once again, if you do the research, you can go to the Cato Institute. There's a few other places that I can lead you to. A voucher system works